The Blast Premier Fall groups have started today, and kicking things off, we're gonna actually do a demo review of Zywoo on Dust 2. Now, the reason I'm choosing this game is because, first of all, Zywoo played insane. He had one of his best games of his career, and then on top of that, of course, Dust 2 did get a change going into this event. If you didn't see it, there was actually a box added so you can self-boost onto Cat now. And when I was watching the game, I actually noticed that pretty much every single round, the CTs were using this box. So I want to do a demo review, and I also kind of want to look at Dust 2 and how the meta is going to be shifted now that this self-boost is in the game. And we'll get right into that right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you could trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Okay, so we've got Zywoo's POV up here, and it's going to be Vitality versus Gamer Legion, and I normally always skip the pistols, and today is no different. Except actually it is. We're going to go ahead and look at the pistol round here because Zywoo is going to use the self boost right away. He's going to drop a smoke back. That's pretty cool. And he's going to come up towards Cat. Now, again, we see something that's pretty interesting, which is the beginning of a new theme I think we're going to see on Dust 2 quite a bit, which is the big... Like, it's a 2A start. It's the beginning of the 2A meta. Previously, you would send somebody to fast boost somebody Cat, and then he would go CT afterwards if you wanted to start 2B or 1 mid, I don't know. Or you would send 3 towards A if you wanted to do a long take, and then you would have somebody go late Cat. Well, now, you don't need to do that. And so you get to see these like weird little splits. We'll get more into it as the gun rounds progress because they do it quite a bit this game. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting on the pistol that we're already seeing that 2A setup. And of course, you know, the setup is pretty cool, all things considered, and not really too much. You know, pistol rounds are random, like I said. Yeah, gets one at the end. Easy peasy. But moving on to the more exciting things here, we got the first gun round, and again, you're seeing this is going to be a long take, where Zywoo's going to throw a flash over for his boys. This is more standard. Obviously, we're not using the Cat boost yet, but that is until we get somebody in towards CT. Now, this is not him using the boost, but I want to remind you that now somebody that plays in towards CT spawn will have the ability to fast rotate, that is, up to Cat. And that changes quite a bit because before, if you knew somebody was in CT, like let's say we had a mid player and you spotted him, you'd be like, oh, well, maybe we could go Cat because that could be the third A player. But that guy could easily jump back up into Cat before you get there, especially if this is smoked off. So this position right here, the Apex is in, becomes one of the strongest positions on CT side immediately because you can rotate to help mid. You can even see a little bit towards B. You could jump up to Cat. You can go support long. It's a very strong spot to be, and you're going to see a lot of people are floating in this area. And if he ever wanted to go back up towards Cat, he absolutely could. They are playing against a full eco. Here's a round, like I said, Zywoo is going to do a little farm here. He's just going to do the self flash. By the way, just a super cool tip for you guys. This flash that Zywoo threw is one of the most effective flashes in the game. And that is not clickbait. I actually go ahead and show you from this perspective. We used to throw this one in CSGO. The reason this flash is so strong, as you saw, Zywoo lines it up with a little left click throw a left right click throw. So just like this left right click throw at the top here. And the reason that that's so strong is because it's almost impossible to see the flash coming from short. It's actually, I would say, 100% impossible to see it coming. And then you get to peek out on your own here and get a bunch of free kills. That's just pretty basic flash, but it is very strong. You should definitely know that if you're going to be playing Dust 2, especially if you're an A player. And yeah, we get the cleanup. You get to even see a little bit of Apex jumping up there. Like I said, he didn't get the kill, but he did jump up. We got a Zywoo ace. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was all Glocks, but you know, starting off hot right now. I mean, he didn't get his best game ever by doing it nothing, you know? So here we have another round, going to be another long take. Zywoo's going to come up and support his boys. And then afterwards, you know, you get long, holding the flash, making sure nobody's coming out late. It's just standard Dust 2 stuff, but here's the difference. Now he can rotate up to Cat this way, but he can also be useful. He could be useful on Cat as well as close to CT. But here's another thing that's kind of interesting. Because of this meta, you previously wouldn't be able to come up this way. You would have to go all the way around. But you can now re-aggress Cat, so that's kind of cool too. This is a new concept for Dust 2, I feel like. You know, they just took long, and now they're gonna 3-man walk up cat. Now, I might be mistaken, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen anything like this before. It's a very cool push and pull. For example, we've taken long, which forces the T's here. So now we're gonna attack them. They think that we're here, but we're actually going up cat, and I think that this is very unique. Like I said, I could be mistaken. This could have happened a few times in the past before this change, but I don't know. I've never really seen it before. And as you can see, Apex is going to flash for Zywoo. He's going to come up and he's going to get his head ripped off. Okay, maybe we overcooked a little bit on this one, but still, it's interesting to see. Get another round here. Nothing too special on this full eco. Zywoo is just going to be fighting from pit. He has a P250, finds one, but nothing too crazy. I don't know where my curse is at. There it is. We're going to go ahead and go on to the next round. Yeah, so again, this is where things start to get interesting. There's a little smoke for you guys for long doors. Zywoo's going to actually smoke off long doors. It's a tap W throw, and then he's going to do the new self boost. Look at that. Pretty cool. So because of that, you can now do a 2-man long take and then have somebody cat, but this guy can also smoke, so he's also contributing to the long take while going cat. Previously, this start existed in Dust 2, but we would just start 4 towards A. In one of the more recent games that I covered on Dust 2 before this change, I even talked about this, where you would fast cat somebody up towards cat so they could go swing while the long control was being taken, and then the guy that fast cats would rotate back to CT so that he could either flash or he could also peek as well, right? So they could fight mid and long at the same time. But now you don't need to do that. So you could effectively do the same thing, which is a long take with somebody going cat, and then you can also have 2B. It's interesting because this is something that completely changes Dust 2. Like, who would have thought adding a single box to the map, just a single box, would change the entire ways that CT set up? And this is a really big deal. I mean, think about it. Dust 2 has been played for, I don't even know how long at this point. It's been being played since before I was born. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's probably true. I mean, I'm only 22. Somebody tell me in the comments, is Dust 2 older than me? But yeah, like, this is very unique. Like, these kind of things just didn't used to happen a few weeks ago, and now we're watching, you know, the beginning of something exciting. Dust 2 actually feels fresh at the highest level right now, but at least from the games that I've watched so far. Maybe it'll get solved soon, I'm sure it will, but it feels nice. It feels actually like a really good change that nobody asked for. I like when Valve does stuff like that. Anyway, so of course you get more of the same. Zywoo S tier positioning, finds 2. And, you know, he goes for a little bit there. I'm not really sure how I feel about cat execs given the new lurk smoke. I don't really know if you can still throw the avant-garde smoke. Now, don't get me wrong, it still works. It still does what it used to. The difference is that now, if you throw an avant-garde smoke, which is the smoke that lands on top of this box, anybody rotating in from CT can jump up in the smoke without getting spotted and then immediately flank behind you cat. So now, if you want to throw that smoke, you kind of have to be careful because instead of getting flanked from cat, like back here, you can get flanked from here. Like if you're like, maybe you're hiding ninja, somebody just all of a sudden is cat and you're like, wait, how did he get there? I'm not sure. It's going to take a little bit of time to solve this, but I do think that will probably get fixed. Like meta-wise, I think people will kind of adapt to that smoke not really being as useful as it once was, but I don't really know what that's going to be. Like genuinely, I'm not so sure because, well, I mean, I know we're kind of yapping a little bit here, but I do think this is an important talk. I think that like the standard lurk smoke is still obviously very strong, the one that lands on this rail, but I think now if you want to do an A exec, you kind of have to throw that smoke and a CT smoke, because if you throw the avant-garde smoke, they could just jump up. And if you throw the CT smoke, you can actually throw a molly on these boxes, which kind of makes it so you can like fight. And then if you want to jump down into CT, which we already did this strat in CSGO and now CS2, where you would smoke CT and then have one guy jump into CT and walk up and kill the ramp guy. These kinds of strats might become more popular because now if the guy drops CT, he can go back up to cat. So I'm not really sure, just kind of thinking out loud. I didn't really see too much T experimentation with the boxes and like the new cat exec meta, but mostly today we're just looking at CT stuff. And of course, Zywoo's farm. I even missed a kill last round because I'm yapping about the box too much, but I do think that it is an interesting discussion to have. Let me know what you guys think about all the things that, you know, I was talking about, T side, CT side stuff. From here on out, let's just watch the man himself. So we get another round, and you know, so I was doing the standard thing. This spot is called Game Helper by some of the old men that play the game, and so now I call it that too. And the reason they do that is because, you know, you're just kind of assisting. You know, you're flashing long, holding mid, holding cat, and whatnot. A lot of operas play here. Very standard. This role hasn't really changed much since I've even started playing the game. Back when like old Dust 2 was still in the game, I used to watch Pro Season. Like it's still basically the exact same. kind of bouncing back and forth. There is a gap cat. Of course, he can spot long and bait for flames. And yeah, I mean, not a lot here. It's just Dust 2 right now. And the T's are going to regroup and walk out long. Of course, Flames is in position. And Zywoo as well in a really good spot here. Going to be opping car. Finds the first one. Not even worried about it. Knows he could still be cat. Go. Oh, wow. I didn't even... That shot's insane. And yeah, look at him. He's just frying tonight. He was on a heater, huh? Look at that. He even legs him there. What a G. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to see from Zywoo. I mean, mechanically, it's hard to play against operas like this. I mean, think about it. If he is so confident that he could just peek, even in situations where he shouldn't be peeking and still hit the shot, like, I don't really know how you're supposed to play against that. It's suffocating. I mean, look, I'm not a pro, and I've never played against, like, well, I mean, I'm a semi-pro, but I've never played against Zywoo, I've never played against Monacy or Simple, but I've had players that have made me feel like a noob. Like, operas that have made me feel like a noob. I can't imagine what it would feel like to play these guys. Like, what do? Like, you throw the exec, you do this for the proper spacing, you know, and everything, and he's just frying you, man. Like, he's actually just, he makes you look like a noob. I don't know what to say. Like, these guys are tier 1 pros, or I guess tier 2, whatever it is for Gamer Legion, and Zywoo's just making them look like random face-it puggers. It's just insane, but that's just what he does. That's what these kinds of players do, like Monacy and Zywoo and Simple, and now Donk. Like, they just do this. Anyway, not too exciting this round. I did actually have this one written down in my notepad before I watched the demo. Here's another round where we get to see the box get used. It's going to be Apex, though. He's going to jump up. He seems to prefer this method here. That seems like most people are using that way to get up. And we get another interesting setup here. The entire reason that I wrote this one down in my notepad before the video started, by the way, is because look at this. This is not like... normal. Like, for Dust 2, it's kind of weird. You have 2 mid, your oppers mid, you have 1 close mid doors and 1 swinging cat, and you have a guy that's just like taking long. Look at this POV. Like, Flames is just waiting here. Like, he just takes long with it. Like, he has it. Now I know they're playing against a full eco, but like, seriously, like, this is insane. Am I wrong? Like, CTs are they're just winning. Like, positionally, if this was a gun round, they're just winning. Like, look, Zywoo's mid. He can op mid. He doesn't need to rotate A. We have cat info. We have full long. And if they go B, he's here. Wow, that's strong. And these are kind of the kind of starts that you just weren't getting back, you know, before this, the old version of Dust 2. You just don't get these kind of starts, at least not this early in the round. Anyway, yeah, it's just kind of, you know, standard from here. Zywoo hits a shot. We go on to another round. Actually, I think I have this round also in the notepad, round 8, because... we had Flames drops nades up to Apex there, and look at that. Look at that. So Zywoo was able to go for the pick, and we were already seeing these nades get cycled. Look at this is something that became meta in Dust 2 back when nade dropping was added to the game. We saw a lot of this. I think Alexi B had a game where he had 1,000 utility damage just by doing this concept here. So good to see that this is still around, but look at how fast he is here. Like, it's insane to me. Like, he's just here by himself, and we still have 2 long. We have long, we have cat, and we have lower. Look at the macro. Look, Apex has double nades for wherever it needs. We have a guy in lower, we have long, and the B guy, yeah, he's on an island, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we have full mid, we have full A. If they go B, we save and we run it back next round, because you can't go B every round. So this is suffocating. You can't go lower because they have a setup to deal with this. You can't smoke off mid doors and go up cat because they have the setup to deal with that. Okay, so what do? You go out long fast? Okay, well, Zywoo's waiting for you, and his teammate doesn't need to fast cat his teammate to be cat anymore, right? So Flames doesn't need to fast cat Apex to be fast cat anymore. So he just has a teammate. Like that like, these things, they don't make sense. And I want you to understand, I am kind of yapping about this being a big deal, and people are probably going to meme about it, like, oh, Austin freaks out over a box for however long the video is. But understand something. This is a big deal at the highest level. Like we have thousands and thousands of hours as players. Like, you know, I'm including myself in this, as competitive players. This change doesn't just click, right? So for T's, like, the T's are going to take some time to get used to this. I mean, I've been playing pugs and scrims with my team on Dust 2, and whenever they peak cat at like 140, you're like, wait, they're just there every round. Used to be you would only get that if and only if somebody fast catted them, but now you don't need that anymore, so they're just always playing cat. It's such a weird feeling, and I don't know, these first few games, these first few months on Dust 2, they're going to be very brutal for the T's. I'm so excited to see how we solve this. I really am. Anyway, so we get full long. The setup in mid is going crazy. everything's going well. Apex gets his, doubles down. It's all looking good. And Zywoo's still back. By the way, he was just long a second ago. Now he's already back to mid. So that's another thing. We did the Monacy demo review just a few days ago. If you haven't watched the Monacy review, top right of your screen, highly recommend you go check that one out if you want to watch how Monacy ops on Ancient. I mentioned in that demo review that Monacy does something that a lot of operas do. Actually, pretty much every opera at the top level does this, where they're always moving around, right? So, you know, you never really see an opera stick around in the same place for too long. So Zywoo shoots his op long and is immediately rotating in towards mid. I kind of explained this concept to death in the Monacy video, so if you want to learn more about that and repositioning and whatnot, you can go check out that video. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's just more of the same. Zywoo hits another shot. I mean, he doesn't really miss that often, so it's also kind of nice to have him on a game like. I mean, he's 14-2. Like, I know most of this video has been dedicated to the box and the meta change, but Zywoo's also farming. Like, all of that is, you know, a big advantage to the CT is everything that I've been saying, but also they have Zywoo, so it's like. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna feel rough. It really is gonna feel rough. Anyway, I'm probably gonna have to go back and cut down some of the box talk because I felt like I yapped about it for too long, but maybe I'll leave it in. If I left it in, let me know if you enjoyed. Anyway, so we've got another round here. It is still interesting to me that we're smoking cross. Now, I could have mentioned this in any of the other Dust 2 reviews that I've done, but I'm picking this one. I'm not really sure why we still smoke cross. I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like it's as risky as it used to be to cross mid. I know pros are going to hit this shot quite a bit still, but I don't know. Maybe you can justify it now that the map is like kind of CT sided. You can kind of justify like, okay, let's just make sure we never get picked. But you can also pretty much never get picked if you run down, then go across. But I guess that gets rid of the timing. So I don't know. We used to play old Dust 2 by smoking the cross, so I guess you just say whatever and just do it. So I'm not sure. Either way, this round is very, very similar to some rounds we've already seen. And Game Helper, like I said, he's flashing, waiting for Apex to get back to CT, coming back to bait for his teammate. You know, it's all the same as we've seen before. It's a half buy though, so they're not too worried. Apex goes 1 for 1. A real chance here, and this is when things start to get interesting. As you can see, for the macro, we do have a pretty good reposition here for Flames. He backs up off of long. Now, he already has been playing pretty committed. You remember that round earlier where he was on this little pit railing here and Zywoo was opping car? Well, they've switched it up a little bit. This time, Flames is hiding car, kind of helping, looking towards Cat, and Zywoo is opping site. Gets a early fight there, so he has time to move around if he'd like to. Yeah, so Zywoo's just... I mean, he's him. Like I said, he doesn't really miss. He goes in ops from this elbow position. Another very strong spot for oppers. I mean, of course, he can see if they go cat. I mean, we don't expect him to hit the run boost shot, but that's also always nice. And then if he needs to switch around, he can opt from the ramp. You know, he's got a lot of really good fights from here. And yeah, so he's going to hunt this last kill down as well. But I'm really enjoying the way that this CT side Dust 2 is being played. And to be honest, when we switch over to T side, you know, you're gonna see. It's not very fun. Here's another round that was in my notepad, but I think I already explained everything I wanted to about this. You get the same idea where you get to have a cat player, but you also get to have somebody in towards mid. Sphinx is just, you know, running into lower. We get this Apex cycling nades. It's literally the exact same round. The difference being Flames actually does go down. Look at that. We're kind of digging into the playbook here. They ran the same exact CT setup twice. You see that? That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just like, you know, they don't really need to overreact to Flames' death because it's like, again, if they go long, it doesn't really matter. We focus on everything else and then we can address the retake. The retake has gotten easier now that you can jump up on these boxes. So it's not really a big deal. We don't need to freak out. A lot of people in lower level pugs might, you know, immediately, oh my God, we have to go away. But the reality of the situation is just chill. It's okay. We're fine. They don't actually know anything. He killed him through the smoke. He has zero idea what's going on except for that he killed somebody. Okay. Now that we've got that figured out, we established this round. You know, they have a game plan. This is obviously pre-planned. We've ran it twice now. So they have to have planned for this. At the tier 1 level, you plan for this. Like, what happens if he dies? What happens if he dies? What happens if we get a kill? What do we want to do? It's all been talked about at some point, and this is what they want to do. So we get Mezzy in a good position here. Finds the first one. Finds the second one as well. And then we get the rotates in. It's all pretty standard. Sphinx is going to find one. So I was just, you know, keeping an eye out for that lurk. Remember, the guy that killed Flames is still alive. This goes back to nameplating. You know, they know this guy is around here somewhere, so they're looking mid. They kinda surprisingly aren't looking long, even though they know that that's a possibility. Apex is going to pay the price for that in about 3, 2, 1. And yeah, you know, the Zywoo in a 1v2. This is kind of, you know, expected. He somehow gets the kill onto Flamus, and then, of course, give him enough time to sit here and cook, and he hears him running in towards Cat. He's got the nade out and everything. I just toss it into sight, and that's all she wrote. You know, unfortunate whiff on CT, but it's also Zywoo, so it happens. I mean, you know, you don't get a game like Zywoo's having right now without the other team playing subpar. Let's just use that word to, you know what I'm saying. You know, they definitely didn't play their best game, and that's okay. That's okay, but that's, you know, that's gonna happen sometimes. We get more of the same. By the way, I know I talked about this in one of my reviews, but I want to bring it up again. This right here, this is something that we used to do in CS:GO. This is the CT long the CT long smoke combined with the corner smoke, and the idea is the CTs throw this smoke so that they can cross whenever the guy goes blue. He normally would be able to see this guy crossing pit. His teammates are flashing sometimes over this wall right here to blind the pit guy and not him. And then the Ts are throwing the corner smoke to stop their players from getting opped on the corner. And then the CTs throw their smoke. So you kind of get like a little outside wall. Like if you were playing Nuke, you get like the outside smokes. You kind of get one of those. It's just a wall across the pit. Which, of course, the CTs are also throwing this smoke here because they want this to make a wall so they can cross the pit. Because obviously pit is really strong. Now, you'll see a lot of teams abuse this idea as well, where they're going to have somebody jump up right here on T side and just kind of make sure nobody pushes up. There's a lot of depth that goes into the long fight. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think so, but there really is. But yeah, I don't know. I really think that this is a fun thing. I like the long lurk smoke. I feel like a lot of people don't know about it, and you can throw it in your pugs. You don't even need the corner smoke to be thrown. The long lurk smoke is really strong because, well, I know I yap a lot in these videos, but anyway, it's really strong because even if they don't throw the corner smoke, you can still play around this, and you can get a lot of really good fights. And if you get left alone long, which, let's be honest, happens a lot in pugs, you can kind of manufacture a play, live long enough for a teammate to come and throw a flash or come out and help you, right? So it's pretty good. Even in team play, I really enjoy it. Okay, so we're watching Zywoo, nades off the blue. I mean, this guy, he did make it out there, but he's not happy. This Andu guy, he is not happy. And Zywoo, he rotates back just in time to catch these guys coming up cat. Now, this is kind of a desperation play from the Gamer Legion side. I won't lie. You know, this is the classic go out long and then run up cat. You know, you're trying to overwhelm the A defense here because they won't know what to look at. Do I look at long? Do I look at cat? Well, they didn't do a good enough job at making them look at long, so Zywoo was able to turn around. He doesn't need to support his players in long. They got it handled. There was no kills that happened, and he's just going to handle it. I mean, he did hit the collat. Could have been a double kill, but it wasn't. And yeah, look at Zywoo. You can tell he's feeling it by the way he's just kind of disrespectfully pushing around. Like, this is like the third time that I've seen him whip out the deagle so far this demo review and just kind of run at people. But that's the difference in equality. Like, that's the difference in the quality of player here. Like, that's what separates Zywoo from, like, who's the upper on this team? Damn, is it? Ah, man, I feel bad for not knowing that off the top of my head. But that's the difference. Like, they have that confidence to just be like, you know, I'm just going to pull out the deagle. I'm Zywoo. I'll hit the shot. Like, of course I'm going to hit the shot. Are you kidding me? This is definitely leaning on the sillier side of demo reviews, but I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, a very standard round from the boys on Vitality. And Zywoo's just farming. He's just doing that thing again. And here we go. Final round for CT side. We're going to get to see it again. We get that jump up onto fast cat. And because there's no fast boost required, Apex is able to flash for Flames to take long. Zywoo's already cat. Spinks is in mid. He's going to blow the smoke here. And, you know, I don't need to say it. You can already say it. This is... You know what? You could just finish my sentence. You guys know what I'm thinking. This is insane. Going to be opping towards cat. The B hit comes in. And, yeah, he's flashing over for the boys. Mezzy held it. Spinks is also back from mid just in time. And that's going to be the half. That is going to be the half. And 10 rounds on the CT side. I fear this might be the new reality for this map. I don't think that this change with the boxes is a bad change, but I do think that until we get used to this box and this timing and all of the things that this, you know, changes, like being able to play 2B while taking long, that's not normal, or being able to play 2B, 1 mid and 2 long while taking long, that is really weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to take a little bit of time before this gets solved. And in the meantime, while that is getting solved, you're going to see a lot of CT-sided games, in my honest opinion. So we got another round coming in. T-pistol. We watched the CT pistol, so I guess we can watch T-pistol. A lot of times, what you'll see in pistol rounds on T-side is you get your best aimer. Maybe that's your Nico if you're on G2, your Monacies, Zywoo in this case. And you give him a P250, especially on Dust 2 maps that have a lot of open range, like Ancient, Nuke, Dust 2, Mirage as well. And you just kind of let them work, right? You let them take those long range fights. In this instance, you can see they want to do a mid pop. The guys are going to walk down. Zywoo's going to come and peek this guy, and then they're either going to flood out mid or they're going to jump up cat. I mean, that's just a pretty standard pistol. And here we go. Takes the fight, not going to get it, and everything's going to kind of go wrong right away, which is going to put us on to the eco round for Vitality. Now, they could force, but they're up so much, it doesn't really matter, does it? Just give Zywoo a deagle, give the rest of the boys a deegs, and, you know, we got a scout as well. Let's just see what happens, and that's sometimes, that's what can happen, and that's what they're hoping for. You know, Slend, you know, I feel bad for him, but Zywoo is he's 20-3, so it was only a matter of time before he found that kill. Zywoo now just going to he's going to continue to lurk up, and you know, the boys are going to get dealt with here, unfortunately, even though I want to say that they could pull it off. Zywoo finds one more, but it's just not meant to be, not this time. And yeah, it got a little scary there at the end. I forgot about that, to be honest, because I was only watching Zywoo's POV. But either way, we get the op right away. It's a glass cannon. Now, the thing about T-side opping on this map is, well, unfortunately, especially if you're on a glass cannon, you're kind of relegated to do one thing, which is this exactly. You know, you get that boost in towards mid here. See if anyone jumps in towards lower. You can't really go for a long pick. You're going to get naded and die. You can't really do anything else. I mean, opping tunnels is not really ideal. I mean, you could come here and opt for B, but more than likely not. So this is like the only thing you're doing with the op. Eventually, you could end up here holding towards mid for the boys, and then maybe even creeping down and doing one of these. So, you know, kind of looking for that fight in towards CT. But yeah, so, you know, it's just standard. By the way, if you don't know how to do this, you should learn. If you ever want to boost your opper, you're just going to crouch in this area here. It's going to give them plenty of room to maneuver around. And the reason he's on the left side here is because if Zywoo wanted to unpeak, like let's say he got, you know, he missed a shot, somebody's fighting him, he could of course move to the left, right? If Apex was standing, you know, on the right side here, well, first of all, he could get spotted, so I guess there's that, but also it lets Zywoo unpeak and then repeak. So just a small detail for all of you boosters out there. And yeah, he's going to creep back up. Like I said, it's just, you know, standard stuff. He's going to look for that fight in towards CT and towards mid. He does have the glass cannon, but it's Zywoo again, and he's going to play with confidence even despite that. Does take quite a bit of damage there, and you know, things aren't looking too great for him. But this is something that we looked at in the Cadian demo review. If you remember, I said in the Cadian demo review, or was Cadian the problem on Liquid? Link in the top right. In this, there was an exact round like this where Cadian was lurking in mid with the op, and like putting pressure, and then his team was doing something else, right? And I said it might look like to the untrained eye that he's just baiting. But here we have Zywoo doing it again, and like I said in that video, this is just very common for operas to be in mid, like, you know, kind of holding cat, fighting towards mid, holding for the long push, and just, you know, being a presence, because coming out of tunnels with the op is not really something that you want to do, and keeping the op in this area is going to give you a lot of free picks on aggression. But more importantly, if you end up going mid to B or cat exec, you want him to be close and not in somewhere like tunnels, because it's just not going to help you out. Like I said in the Cadian video one more time, going mid to B, you can post in towards window while everybody's running up, and then you can also be here to deny the rotations coming in from CT. I know I'm kind of over explaining it, but the idea is Zywoo is obviously here just to put enough pressure so people don't stack B. That way, when they go for this hit, well, you know, they're going to have an advantage. And even though Zywoo is going to go down, he's done enough because they are going to get the site. And not only are they going to get the site, they're actually going to get the round, and there you have it. So it's like rounds like this where, yes, Zywoo didn't get a kill, but him being in mid there just wins the round. And I guess I would be wrong to give all the credit to Zywoo for making that play, because obviously that's probably an Apex call, right? Like having the upper mid and then doing a B hit, like that's probably, but definitely is an IGL call. But it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, it's Zywoo though, so like you're gonna put him in, he's probably gonna get a kill. Yeah, I know he's glass cannon, not the best thing in the world, but yeah, he's still gonna at least apply enough pressure to be able to do that. Now, this is a very traditional like Dust 2 round where, you know, on CT side, we need to win a round. So we're going to go 4 long. We're going to do a super crazy, like all in long take. If you come long, we're winning. And if you go B, we're saving. And that's just, you know, sometimes that's how Dust 2 plays. Not a really big fan of that, but hopefully with this box, that's going to get changed. I do think that we're going to see that. But yeah, look at that. They get a clean advantage from Gamer Legion. I love this 4-man long. And then look at that. Let's actually rewind it, because if you look at the radar as much as I do, look at what they're able to do. Look, I'm just going to come back here. They're just doing a cat reaggression right away, just like I talked about before. These are things that you wouldn't be able to see. I mean, you would, but they would have to go so far. And you know, you get these guys boosted up cat right away. We get a guy in CT, and you're in a very familiar situation. If you remember, like I said, on Vitality CT side, they were doing this too, where they were getting into these positions where you have somebody mid, you have full long and everything. They were doing it differently, but they were still in these same situations. They were just in them a lot faster because they were using the boost. But regardless, we get more. We got to go back to Mr. Zywoo sitting in towards Useless. I think this area is called Useless, right? I've always just called it Useless. You could call it T-spawn, but I just called this area Useless. There was a call out like that on Cash as well. Anyway, the cat reaggression pays off, which not only is it going to pay off, it's actually going to force the hand of Vitality. I mean, look, the gig is up. They cleared cat, they have long, they have mid, they know where you are. I mean, like, look at the checklist. Nope, nope, nope. I wonder where they could be. And because of all of that, of course, they're going to be forced to save, and we're going to move on to the next round. Now we are going to see a pretty solid round, all things considered here. Let's just go and appreciate the new CT meta. By the way, I have no choice. I'm just addicted to looking at this. We get to see one person start cat and 2 people run up mid. Now, again, this is not normally for this game because, or for this map, because you also have somebody that can just take long. Like I said, normally this guy doesn't exist because he has to fast cat the cat player, or he does exist and then this guy doesn't exist, or the second mid player doesn't exist. You don't get all of them, but now because of the box, you do. So you have a pretty insane mid control. We get the triangle set up in mid, and we also get to have long, and you have somebody that's pretty close to tunnels he could push if they needed to. Like maybe this guy wants to go lower, or maybe he fights lower. You know, maybe Flames comes out here and gets spotted by the cat guy, and then this guy flanks behind him. You know, a lot of options because of that. Back to Zywoo's perspective, now they are pushing up towards mid here. They're going to get a nice flash from that second mid player that's going to completely blind everybody. Unfortunately, Flamus is not actually going to get a kill off of that, but he will molly enough to get back. Now, you will see nobody's overextending here. You know, it's the discipline of a player like Zywoo and all the other Vitality guys, but, you know, Zywoo's who we're watching, they don't overextend. This guy is in the open, but they don't know what's waiting for them. There could be an opper. There could be a second or third mid player. So if they were to swing mid, they would probably die. So it could be tempting. You might fall for that trap in lower levels. You might fall for that trap even in a pro game. You know, these guys might fall for that sometimes, but this time they don't. And then they realize something. Because of the new meta, they just played CT side, remember? And so they kind of understand that, well, it's right now anyway. It's kind of meta to just send one guy long, and he does long stuff, and then he goes away, right? That's what Flames did. That's what they were calling setups around Flames doing this. So they don't actually need to do anything that crazy. They're just gonna walk out long. They did get the corner smoke and the flash from Apex, and they're just gonna make their way out towards long here. Ignore that floating AK. I don't know why that happens. But yeah, they get long control here, and they're just gonna do a standard long exec. Now, not a lot to look at here. I mean, they know pretty likely they're not playing an op on A site. Zywoo just goes for that confidence tap, by the way. I mean, look, he's on a heater right now. I mean, it's easy to forget that while watching this game, but he's on a heater. We get the smokes thrown. Now, we do see a pretty cool lurk smoke from Flemis. I'm actually going to rewind it just so you can see that before we get too far ahead here. This lurk smoke that Flemis throws, oh, I missed it. Look at this. So when he sees the exec coming in, he is going to throw a smoke in the corner of the site. Hold on, he does it right here. It's not really a lineup. It's kind of loose, but it actually lets him play pretty confidently on the back of the box here. Now, it's not anything special per se, but it is pretty good because it just it gives you room to breathe, right? You know, you don't have to worry about getting shot from the corner when you play this box. So just a small detail. Zywoo is still alive, gonna hold for his teammate. Now there's 3 versus 3. Now the new cat boxes are also going to be in effect here because previously in Dust 2, what we would have to worry about is, well, this is what we used to worry about, was these little boosts where you could see into sight while they were planting. But now you only have to worry about this and somebody jumping up cat, right? So it gets a little bit more overwhelming because then you also have to worry about somebody actually peeking cat. A lot more things to look at just by adding this. And you can kind of see here that it could get out of hand. Like if I'm here holding cat, getting boosted on, somebody jumping up, and a guy peeking cat, okay, now I'm getting a little overwhelmed just thinking about it. Like it's actually kind of insane. So let's watch how they deal with it. So ZTR, boosted up, falls off, doesn't see anything. Then look at Zywoo's holding. Now you might think, Austin, what is he holding? That doesn't look like the cat box. It's not. He's holding the elevator boost. That's another one I forgot to mention, the elevator boost, because you can jump up onto site from there. So that's also pretty interesting. A lot of things going on this A site now. And the cat boost comes in. Look at that. Look at that. You know, from Apex perspective here, I don't even think he had a chance. So ZTR jumps up on the box. And when he jumps up, wow. Like, look, it's so fast. He goes from CT to site so quick. Like, Apex is in a spot that for literal years he would have been safe here. But now because of the box, he's just dead. That's crazy. Anyway, so, yeah, you know, Zywoo in a pretty interesting spot here. He will find one, and he goes down. Fortunately for them, Flames is going to be left in that 1v2, but he's going to win it. Spoiler alert. Yeah, and, you know, we go on to the next round. You saw the box get used here in a post plant. That's another time when it's going to help the CTs. I'm not going to lie. It does seem like a pretty CT-sided change in hindsight. Initially, my reactions were that it was not going to, like, break the map for CTs and make it a lot easier. But now I'm starting to think that it might. I mean, there's select instances where it's going to help the Ts, but we haven't seen that yet. It definitely remains to be seen. So we've got our final round here. It's going to be Zywoo going for the corner pick. Like I said, he's been on a heater all day. He's going to post up on the corner, and Andrew's going to give himself a right on over. Now, this is more of a standard start from the CTs. You get that one long, 3 people pushing up mid, not through the cat, by the way. This is something that we would have seen a couple weeks ago before the box was added, so this is all pretty standard. And the boys are boosted, or I think they're boosted. Hold on, let me go double check what they're doing. They're just kind of sitting mid. I don't even know what this is. Oh, yeah. Oh, I did. Oh, I completely forgot about that. You know what? I'm going to leave that in. I forgot about this mid trap that Vitality called. Oh, wow. Yeah, so what they're doing is they recognize that Gamer Legion like to go up mid. I mean, they've already done it a few times this game. So they call a mid trap. What is a mid trap? Now, this is something that has been around ever since this change right here was made. The CTs have been pushing up mid. So sometimes what happens is now the Ts will kind of like let them take mid, or kind of like encourage them to take mid by not spotting. And what you get is you get a flash over from somebody like Mezzy here, who he's going to support Zywoo. And then when the time is right, he's going to flash over for the boys here, and then the boys are going to double swing towards mid, and they're going to catch everybody off guard. Look at this flash comes in. Now ZTR won't get blinded by it, but look at the boys. They're just going to run through mid, and they're going to catch them. They're completely off guard here. Like, they can't really do too much if you think about it. They live, but in return, it's a 2-on-3, and they know where both of them are. So Zywoo is going to waste no time. He's going to make his way right on up onto the A site here, and jumps on top of the car. Finds the first one onto Volt, and of course any second now. There it is. Mezzy's gonna kill him. So that's gonna be a 25-6 performance from Zywoo, as well as, you know, just overall just an insane showing from Vitality. I really do enjoy the way that the CT side is being played on the new Dust 2. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. How did you guys think Zywoo played? What do you guys think of how Vitality was using the new box? And do you think it's overpowered? Do you think it's broken right now? I want to hear all about what you're thinking. Let me know how you guys enjoyed the review in general. And yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate all the support on the demo reviews. It's been actually insane recently. I feel like I'm saying that every video, but you guys just keep coming back for more and more. And there's so many people that are just enjoying the content. So I can't thank you guys enough. But that's going to be it for me. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Let me know who you guys want to watch.